Alright, hello and welcome back to Let's Play yet another no-name MAME game. Today's no-name MAME game is, of course, Video Hustler. And I'm sure you hear Video Hustler and you have images of some guy running around town trying to hustle videotapes as fast as he can, but unfortunately, it's just pool. That brief musical interlude, and we're in. So otherwise, it seems to be fairly standard. Let's see if it's actually running snooker rules or what. Okay, let's see how the queuing works. Game over already. I feel like I've heard that music before in like the Legend of Zelda intro, but are you serious? No continues, no nothing, it's just hardcore. You better play pool well, or you're not gonna play pool at all. And I sure hope, in addition to that, it doesn't add in the additional restriction that you have to shoot them in order or something silly like that. Oh, okay, so there's a little timer at the bottom, or, well, the speed indicator at the bottom, so you don't really get to choose how fast you're making them go, or not. And then the rest, I'm assuming that's sort of like a little meter to tell you how many, more shots you can go without shooting one in. And then there's got to be a live somewhere. Is that the 4? Huh. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's any sort of lives. But, is one the hardest, one the softest? There were a lot of things this game just doesn't quite explain to you. Otherwise, though, I mean, it's a fairly standard representation of pool. Not a whole lot to say. I mean, that being said, even though it does seem to be fairly standard, it does seem to do its job quite admirably and competently. In fact, you've got this little aiming reticule. Well, I guess that's an interesting little touch, the aiming reticule. So you can see, like, more or less exactly how you can scratch the ball from anywhere on the table. It, kind of lets you see where you're shooting, which, now that I think about it, that's kind of cool. I mean, other pool games, they typically give you like some sort of long arrow that lets you see like more or less exactly the path your cue ball is gonna take when it scratches. More or less the path exactly that your shot's gonna take. Whereas this, I guess it kind of goes for like the difficulty of real pool, where you're never quite exactly sure what your shot's gonna do, but you can kind of aim it just right, and if you know what you're doing, you can make it work. Of course, I don't seem to be knowing what I'm doing, but otherwise, okay, there's one in finally, and it's even the 10 points. The various pockets have, oh, well, that's a bummer. I bet it probably dynamically adjusts them so that the bigger points are always the harder ones to do. Oh, and okay, so the rest does reset, so that's nice. What are you talking about? This is still a hard shot. Well, let's go for luck. Yeah, see? Bested pool. What are you talking about? Yeah, and then your rests recharge after you make them in. I mean, we've seen it before in Prebillion, we've seen it before in Virtual Pool, and there might have been another one, or Prebillion? Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, it's just another competently done pool thing. I mean, yeah, you've got the little bit of extra difficulty in that you can't quite see where your shot's gonna go, but I mean, that being said, you still kind of can see where your shot's going. And I guess if you were, like, really dedicated to cheating, you could probably just bring out a ruler into the arcades. That'd be pretty great. It's like the arcade operator sees you with the ruler. It's like, what are you doing, Sonny? And you're like, I'm gonna win at pool. Oh, cool. So they play it, surprisingly leniently, versus, or with regards to scratches induced by not shooting balls. Of course, they're not so forgiving about actual scratches, but what can you do? Huh. Also, I wonder if these pool games just, like, they all seem to have different sizes for the pool tables, so I wonder if that actually like factors in like that's actually a big factor with regards to how easy or hard it is. Because I might be making stuff up, but I feel like this is a little bit harder of a pool game. It feels like nothing's not so much as handed to you like it is in regular pool games. What are you talking about? I could make this 8 multiplier. Well, I made the shot. Maybe not into the right pocket, but it's beside the point. Again, though, if you're really jonesing for video game pool, I'm probably just going to recommend OMG Pop Pool. Plus, OMG Pop Pool also lets you play against human players. Last time I checked, I mean, this could be... It could have changed in the past while since I last played it, and heck, it even could have changed in the past while since I last played it since I posted this video, so... Who knows? Maybe not take my word directly for it, but... Hey, if you've been taking my word exactly for all of these video games, you'd be woefully misinformed. Alright, let's see if we can hit a few more shots, and then call it a day. In the world of MAME, doesn't always have to be a glamorous sort of thing, but a lot of these arcade games, I mean, if you're in an arcade and you're really desperate for a game to play, you can probably just kind of focus in and, like, make any game worth playing. And I think this is one of those games where it's like, you play it and you're like, the first while, you're like, this is a dumb game. But then after you play it, you're like, yeah, I can do it again. And then afterwards, you're like, I'm gonna win. And then pretty soon you're out of quarters, and it's like 2 days later, so... I dare say it's done its job. Nothing flashy, but nothing incompetent either. Well, on that note, this cat's got a scat.